had a couple theories that I wanted to share. These can be completely fictional. They don't have to be real. But over the past few years, these are a couple things that I'm starting to believe as each NFL season passes. Now, a few years ago, um, I had this idea about the Patriots, and it was totally based on their regular season play versus their postseason play, and how the offensive line looks bad during the season in spots. It looks really bad in spots. It looks average, most of the time, and then sometimes they look better. And the defense for the most part looks pretty average, but then sometimes they look worse, and sometimes they have their moments where they look great. And it's always the same way every single year. You either floating between averageness, in that whole realm, or in the playoffs, you go straight to being great. And you just see a different group of guys. They play differently. Like the offensive line protects better. The defense plays a little more competently, man. Because during the season, I mean, Jesus, they're giving up a shitload of yards every single game. I mean, they don't give up many points because their red zone defense is pretty consistent. But as far as from this 20 to that 20, New England is pretty much bad every single year. But in the playoffs, you see a different group of guys. You see they play differently. It looks like they have different motivations once the playoffs start, which makes sense. I mean, because they're in the Super Bowl every year, so their motivations are a little more. They're a little more serious in the playoffs. But I honestly believe that they play down during the regular season. Like, they may not use some of their best plays during the regular season. I mean, they may not play at full effort during the regular season, because to go from the regular season, you play at like a level 3, and then when the playoffs start, you just hit a gear and you go up to like level 8 or 9 or 10. It's crazy every single year. And then they're beating teams that everybody already has some preconceived notion that they were going to lose to. Like this year, you had the Chargers. Everybody thought the Chargers were going to blow them out. They wound up blowing the Chargers out. They played the Chiefs. Everybody thought the Chiefs was going to hang about probably like 40 or maybe even 50 on their head. Bam. Hit them in the mouth early. And Kansas City had to do a lot to play catch up. And in the Super Bowl, everybody just, everybody believed that the Rams were going to win that game. Even if they said they picked the Patriots to win, everybody believed the Rams will win that game because they were far more talented. And what happened? They limited that team to 3 points. And it was a defensive battle. And I'm on record as saying as I thought it was a great game. But I believe that they played down during the regular season on purpose to kind of get teams to lower their guard. It's like if you're in a fight with somebody and they're picking on you, they're fucking saying all types of shit to you. They don't believe that you have what it takes to take them down. So once they let their guard down, that's when you hit them real hard in the fucking mouth, and they can't recover from that. So, and I believe that's what the Patriots do every single year. They play down. They look bad. They look bad this year during the regular season. It almost looked like it wasn't even going to be a playoff run, honestly. I was on the fence about them even getting out of the... I believe they were going to get the wild card at one point during the season. And then I was like, shit, they might not even win the wild card game. But then, I started to see that gear shift late in the season when it came time to position themselves in the playoffs. Once the playoff seeding started becoming a topic of conversation, a little bit you noticed New England started to play a little more like New England usually plays. And then once the playoffs start, it was game over. All right, that's one. Now another one. Another one is Rob Parker Trying to pull this picture up here. Rob Parker. All right. Now this is what I believe. This guy, he hates New England a lot. I mean, and it's almost to a unbelievable level at this point where he don't care what the situation is. New England, they're the devil, and you know they're responsible for most of the terrible things that happen in the league. Most of those terrible things you hear about, he believes, you know, in his mind that New England is responsible for him. Now, I mean, I chalk this up to just him being, you know, from Detroit, and you know, I don't know. I guess he's like your typical fan outside of the New England region, where you know New England, they're the bad guy, they're the enemy. No matter how, even if you don't have any ill feelings towards them, they are still the enemy. They're the evil corporation that needs to be taken down. And I chalked it up to that. But then I started to pay attention to something this year where somebody made a statement, and I believe this statement. They said that Tom Brady pays attention to everything that is said about him, said about this team, or said about the team, and he uses it as motivation. Now, this is a theory, could be completely wrong. Honestly, because this dude hates this team way too much, and he has no connection to them whatsoever. At one point, I thought maybe Belichick like fucked his girlfriend or something. Like I thought it started to get to that point where I was trying to find a good reason for this dude to hate this team this much. Like, I mean, he fucking hates them. If the plane crashes and the whole fucking team dies, I'm pretty sure, I'm not saying he's going to come on TV and celebrate, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be happy as shit. Like, it's getting to that point. So, my thinking is, with New England, based on the last theory that I threw out there, and New England being as cerebral as they are, and they know Tom Brady. Tom Brady's been there for a very long time. I wouldn't be surprised if the New England Patriots are paying Rob Parker to say a lot of the things that he's saying. And this is just a theory, because this dude hates this team way too much. Every single year is the same. Every year he says this team will lose. They will not get to another Super Bowl. And every year they get to the Super Bowl, and he comes out the next year, says the same shit every single year. Why? Like, you are a journalist. Your whole brand, because most of these journalists have a brand now. Your whole brand is based on your perception in public. And if you're constantly wrong about somebody, at this point, Rob Parker just looks like a hater. And, you know, and I would say that's bad for him. He looks like a biased hater. And that's bad for him, man, because you're supposed to be a sports pundit. You're supposed to be objective as you can be. As objective as you can be. But most of these sports pundits aren't objective at all. But you're supposed to be. And this dude is completely almost inflammatory. I'm trying to think of a fucking word. He's almost blatantly just the opposite of the way that he's supposed to be as a commentator. Like this, I honestly believe this dude is getting paid to say a lot of this shit in a way to motivate Tom Brady. Honestly, because I don't hear him talk with the same vitriol with any other team, any other player that he does with Tom Brady and the Patriots. Really, he doesn't even talk shit about Belichick. He'll say New England. He doesn't even talk about Belichick. And this is the thing, and this is the first time I've seen this. They may have done this in the past, but this is the first time I've seen this. This year, when they won the Super Bowl, the New England Patriots went out of their way to make a video and post it up online of Rob Parker, and I believe Max Kellerman was on the video as well, and it had a compilation of all the shit they were saying. And Tom Brady says that he cringes when people call him the greatest player of all time or greatest football player of all, whatever. He cringes when he hears that. So, you know, obviously that motivation for him to play comes from criticism. And that's that chip that's on his shoulder, is the criticism. And Rob Parker does nothing but provide that every single fucking year, especially around playoff time. Every single year. And I believe that's why he does it, is because he's getting paid by the New England Patriots. It could be Robert Kraft, it could be Bill Belichick, it doesn't matter. He gets paid to do it. Because Brady, believe it or not, like LeBron James, he pays attention to everything that's said about him. Because in order for in his mind, he needs to have that chip. Like, I got to prove these motherfuckers wrong once again. And I don't know. That's just a theory, you know. Let me know what you think. All right.